Hello, I wanted to do a quick reveal of my most recent PSA submission. I submitted this during the June vintage special. They arrived to PSA on July 7th, and I got them back towards the middle to end of October, so it took about 3.5 months to get back to me. Overall, the grades were pretty tough, mostly fair, but on the tough side. So I'm a Packers fan, but I love iconic cards, and this is certainly one of the more iconic cards in football. So I wanted to get this slabbed up. I felt like a 6 was kind of my expected grade, and it's a fair grade. It's clearly off center, and then the top corners are white. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. So it's a nice looking 6. I apologize for the low tech presentation here, but my dad is looking to offload some of his cards from childhood, and so I sent in the Scale Sayers rookie to PSA. Overall, I think a 4 is a fair grade. I did not have this sent back to me because he fully intends to sell it, so I sent it to the PSA vault, and I'll list it as a buy it now. But it looks really well centered, and those cards are really tough to find this nicely centered, so even in a 4, I think it's still got some decent value. I submitted this just for my personal collection. Boyd Dollar was probably the best receiver on the Lombardi era Packers. And this is his rookie card from 1961 Topps. The red on this just pops so well, and the surface looks really good. I feel like a 5 is a fair grade. There's definitely some white on the back, but for a 60-some-year-old card, this is in really good shape. It looks great slabbed up. The red label with the red background looks really cool. I received an offer for $55 from PSA for this, and I wasn't interested in selling it. This is a Deion Sanders rookie. You really only submit this one if you think you're going to get a 10 on it. Anything less than a 10 is a loss. I was hoping for a 10, obviously. The front looks great, really well centered. I think what might have got me is there's a little bit of a white stain right there. I had not noticed that before I submitted it, so it's probably a fair grade. In a 9, it's worth $11. I had a couple swings and misses on some 1987 Fleer basketball. So this Dale Ellis, I was hoping for a 9. It's clearly off center top to bottom, so I did not expect a 10. But in a 9, it's worth $300. At a 7, it's only worth a few dollars, so it's not worth it. Besides that, centering, I don't really notice much else wrong with this card. The surface looks really good. I looked at other examples, and they all have this kind of blotchy appearance, the green on the Sonics there. The back looks pretty good. You got a couple of dots here. Not a huge deal. I still think a 9 would have been a fine grade on this thing. I think I'm going to send this and one other card to Little Victories for his Did PSA Do You Dirty series, so watch for those cards on there. This is the other 87 Fleer that I sent in. Once again, clearly the top to bottom centering is off, so I did not expect to get a 10. In a 9, this Alvin Adams is worth $140. Besides the centering, there is a little bit of a maybe red stain there in the top right, and then that gray down there has a little bit of blotchiness to it. The back looks great. I still don't know if that's enough for it to be a 6, but we'll see what LV thinks. And then I'm actually probably going to send this one to LV as well. 1989 Hoops, Michael Jordan All-Star. I was hoping for a 10 on this. The centering is awfully good. You could say maybe a 9 centering. It's maybe a little bit heavy on the left. But I still thought it was within 55-45 centering. Besides that, I see no flaws with this whatsoever. The back centering is a little bit off, but still within 10 range. So we'll see what LV thinks about this one as well. It seems like they always grade Jordan hard, but it seems like it's been even harder lately. This 87 Bo Jackson Future Stars. I love this card. I love the wood grain border on it. I was hoping for a 9 on this. An 8's a fair grade, I guess. Centering's maybe a little bit off. It's maybe a little bit heavy on the left. And then the bottom right corner here is just slightly rounded off, but otherwise it looks great. In an 8, it's worth $26. So you break even on that grade. I knew I probably would lose a little bit on the bonds, but I thought it looked good slabbed up. 1986 Topps Traded Berry bonds. Centering looks great. You can see there the top right edge there has some edge wear, and the top corners look a little bit rounded off, a little bit white as well. But for this card, this is a really good example of it. In a 7, it's worth $12. And like I said, I kind of expected to lose money on it, but I still thought it looked really good slabbed up. So here's my 2 wins. Here's a 1986 Larry Bird Fleer sticker. This is Michael Jordan's rookie year. The centering on this is pretty good, honestly, for these stickers. They're never well centered. I was honestly hoping for an 8, and that's what I got. I'm kind of proud of this one because this one had quite a bit of a gum stain right here that I was able to work off with a cloth. With a gum stain on there, it definitely would not have gotten an 8. I was offered like $150 from PSA for this. I strongly considered it, but I don't know, I'm considering maybe collecting this set. I obviously, well, not obviously, but I probably won't get Jordan in an 8, but try to get all the others in an 8 and a Jordan in a 5 or a 6. Maybe I got a little bit lucky because there's definitely some edge wear up there too. But this looks really cool slabbed up. Lastly, this is probably my biggest win. This is Barry Bonds Leaf rookie. Really cool card. Centering is pretty good, maybe a little bit heavy on the left. And then the top edges here are a little bit white, so I might have gotten a little bit lucky to get a 9 on this. I was hoping for a 9. I knew I wouldn't get a 10. So I'm very happy with this grade. In a 9, this is worth $160. So as always with all my PSA submissions, you get slammed for the most part, but they always give you just enough to make it keep coming back. Here's a couple more pickups that I got recently from my local card shop. This is a Hulk Hogan second year card. I think this is a lot of fun. I love him holding the belt there with the yellow background. It's not worth grading. It probably would get a 6 or a 7, so I'll just keep it in this one touch. And then I love this one. I love buying cards that are lower grade but look great. This John Elway in a 7. It's a great looking 7. Honestly, there's not much that makes this a 7. This top left corner is just a little bit rounded off, and then there's a little bit of edge wear here on this left side, but in the slab, unless you've knocked it on the table like this, you don't see that edge at all. So I'm very happy with this in a 7. I'm considering getting all the great cards from the 1984 top set in a grade, like a 7 or an 8. So I'll have to be looking for the Dan Marino and the Eric Dickerson as well. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day.